Welcome back to the Buffalo Futures Getting Ahead podcast, where we are centering youth voice to build a stronger support network for the youth in the community. I am your host, Leah Strong, and I am with my co-host,
Jamal Lewis. Happy to be back for this episode.
Yeah.
Today we have Devon Patterson, Director of Community Engagement at Open Buffalo, as well as the co-chair member of the YEC. Also joining us is our newest family member to the Buffalo Futures, Nia Warren, our success coach. Today we'll be discussing the purpose of Buffalo Futures as well as the resources that we have in Buffalo that support the youth.
Yeah, so how are y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Nia.
I'm doing great.
So Nia, let us know, what's the type of work that you into? What does we do here at Buffalo Futures and stuff?
Well, at Buffalo Futures, I make sure that, I'm a success coach.
Mm-hmm.
So in my role, I primarily make sure that I'm reaching out to the youth, disconnected youth, making sure that they're connected with opportunities and career pathways, not only a job, but something that can sustain their lifestyle, their families, and anything else that they're dealing with in their own individual lives.
And that's amazing. Devon, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your journey a little bit?
So I do a lot of everything at Open Buffalo, but specifically, I do all of our forward-facing work out in the community. So we're real based in community-based feedback. So rooted in making sure that all of the things that we do and advocate for policy-wise, leadership development, training, all is representative of the community. And then also I oversee our youth development program called Youth Action. So that's where me and Buffalo Futures have strong ties, because whatever we can do to help, wraparound services, direct support, whatever it is to empower these young folks these days.
That's amazing.
So what got you, what was your passion to why you got into this work that you do?
That was random. I was a student athlete, and surprisingly, you got to graduate to continue to be in your sport. You got to make sure you're passing.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up African American Studies, and I didn't know what to do with that afterwards after college. So, but I had some experience organizing across campus, and I tripped upon a nonprofit, and then I got affiliated with Open Buffalo, and here I am making a difference to people that look like me.
We love to hear that, because that's you guys are the mold and the make of what we kind of aspire to be and what we want to do. So I want to ask you, Nia, is there a specific person that pushed you or helped you to put you in this specific field?
This specific field, I would say, I don't want to attribute it to just one person, but overall, I would definitely say that I started young. I used to be a part of this cultural center called African American Cultural Center, and I would say that I was under the tutelage of Agnes Bain. She has went on to the ancestral plane, but she influences me so much in everything I do, everything that I try to influence into other people. So if I could say one person really pushed me to be out there and be confident in myself and what I'm passionate about, it would be her.
And what about you, Devo? Is there a specific person, or?
There's, like Nia said, there's a whole bunch of people.
Right.
But shout out to my grandmama, Viola Patterson. So without her love and support and, guidance telling me, you got to treat everybody right, and respect is not always earned. You give people respect no matter what until they show you a reason not to give them respect. So I'm going to shout her out for today.
For sure. Big shout out to Granny. We love our grandmas.
Yeah.
Amen.
Definitely.
Yeah. What's something that you guys are passionate about outside of the work you do?
You want me to take this one?
Yeah.
All right. So I was told I had to show out. So I really like to lift weights.
As we can see.
So I can squat 900 pounds. We're going to see if we can beat that in June. The most I've benched is 645 pounds and not in a competition. And the most I've deadlifted in competition is 722 pounds. So, and I hold the indoor national record for Puerto Rico in track and field. For shot put. So
national?
It's a national record for indoors only, not outdoors, which really counts and matters. But no matter what, for the time being, I have that national record.
Was there a specific reason that you got into lifting?
Track and field. So the only reason why I got into lifting is track and field. Now that I don't do track no more, I kind of like it's a lifestyle, and I've been going to gym for 13 years at the same time with same people. So it's kind of weird if I don't do it. It's like the same thing with work now. If I don't do work during the day, 9 to 5, I feel like I'm like off as a human.
How important is health?
Everything. I mean, mind, body, and soul. If one is out of whack, then you can't do the other two, right? So any days that I miss the gym, I know that my stress is high, my tension's high, and I'm bringing that into the next day. So if I don't address those when I have my set lifts, then I'm coming less of a person and less with resources and passion to my young folks. That's a disservice.
Oh, for sure, that makes a lot of sense.
But, yeah, for Nia,
yeah, I'll definitely take that.
That's
I'm glad you answered first. I don't know, because I would say I don't really have passions currently with this position. I don't have passions outside of my work. The things that I choose to dedicate my efforts to and my rigor and my work ethic, everything I do, I'm passionate about. So like, I'm passionate about the youth. I'm passionate about my city. I'm passionate about the arts. And without that, there's no work to be done, at least on my part.
You better say that then. Okay, so when we discussing like Buffalo Futures and the work that we do, and we trying to be low barrier to entry, what barriers do you feel that the youth in this area face in trying to get employment?
I definitely feel like youth face a lot of barriers that sometimes really go over our heads. We really have to use that empathetic skill to figure out what our youth really need. So sometimes it can be the level of schooling that you had. It can be, how are you going to get there? Transportation. There's a lot of jobs where a bus stop is 4 or 5 blocks away.
Right.
And we're already trying to figure out ways to kind of make those barriers not non-existent, but make sure that our youth are able to access the opportunities that are presented to them without stumbling over these barriers. We're going to try to conquer them as much as we can. So I feel like definitely schooling and transportation is a big thing for me, because we want to make sure that opportunities are out there for everyone, no matter the situation, no matter the lifestyle.
Hi everyone, my name is Terrell Mason. I'm the Senior Director of Buffalo Futures. Just here to shout out one of our sponsors, Tech Buffalo. Tech Buffalo is a nonprofit organization that strives to create sustainable, inclusive, and accessible technology community here in West New York. By doing so, by improving our region's ability to attract, retain, and foster technology talent. We really want to thank them for their generosity and for donating into Buffalo Futures and helping us to continue this work. And so to find out more information about Tech Buffalo and some of the opportunities they have, please visit techbuffalo.org.
And of course, like you said, not fully eliminate those barriers, but chipping away at the problem. So what resources, and this is a question for both of you guys, what resources do you wish were existent when you guys were kids?
That's good.
Okay, for me, I'll say this. I wish that I had more people that looked like me in school. So I went from, we lived in Section 8, so we lived all over the place. And we went from the east side to the cusp of the suburbs. So I ended up going to Williamsville South for high school, and that's predominantly white folks. So, but it wasn't the students around me. Like, you found your students, the people that looked like your peers that looked like you, but it was the teachers, educators. Like,
right.
There was no connection there. And every time, like, I felt like I was 2 steps forward, I was actually 5 steps backward. So I wish I just had that as a resource.
No, that makes sense. And Nia, yourself?
I would piggyback off of Davon and say that I wish I had an advocate, because I feel like in schooling, there were a lot of outsourced teachers who really didn't live in Buffalo.
Right.
And so not only did they not look like me, but they didn't share the same inner city experiences as me. Like, I couldn't tell this person like a restaurant that everybody from Buffalo knows without them being like, so it's that level of connectivity, right? It's that level of connectivity that definitely needs to be there for that to be the first step. So not only do I need to see somebody that looks like me, but I need to see somebody that has lived adjacent to my lifestyle.
That's good. So what resource then would you recommend for a youth that is now that was living in your shoes, but is now living in your shoes?
I would definitely say reach into your own community and find your advocates there. I'm grateful that I am currently in a position to not only help youth but to be accessible to youth. Like, I'm so grateful that the hub is like literally downtown. So it's like we have transportation here. We're in the middle of the city. Like, a lot of people can access us, and we have those connections to where we're getting our mode and our mission out. So I'm yelling to the rooftops, and hopefully they can hear me.
Period.
For sure.
She's saying this thing.
If there were still no resources available, how can we work towards making sure the youth in the city get what they need?
Yes.
I think it's important that we use our voices for them. Like, just like you said earlier, your question before, like youth that are in the shoes that we were in back then, like being able to recognize your past self and say, hey, like, I have these resources now, or I wish I knew what I know now then. So I'm going to help you, and I'm going to reach back and pull you forward. So definitely being somebody, a trusted person to just bring the youth that you're around or the people that you're around closer to where everybody wants to be, whatever level of success that is, or
whatever. And do you feel any different?
I don't feel no different. I mean, likewise, like what Nia said, we got all this lived experience that we went through, and now we got resources, networks, and people behind us. So it's up to us to like pave the new way so that our next generation can actually have the steps and tiers to get to where they need to be successful and thrive.
Right. So with saying that, like, being that you worked, Devon, in Buffalo and then nationally as well, like, how do you feel that has assisted you or taught you to navigate the youth in this generation?
One has given me confidence for sure. It's reassured me. I mean, like a lot of many young people who do this, it's like imposter syndrome. So sometimes feeling like I don't have the experience, I don't got the knowledge, I don't got what it takes, right? But all the work through the past 5 to 8 years, it's giving me confidence, giving me a network with people.
Right,
Buffalo Futures in the end now. It's just like a whole bunch, but honestly, it's the young people that stay here and stay connected. So I got 7 young people that have been with me since I started Open Buffalo in 2021. And they just continue coming back almost every other Sunday. Every Sunday we meet, you know what I mean? So it's that reassurance that whatever I'm doing, they're connected to and they're stuck to. So they're retaining to. So I guess that's what keeps it going.
That's good. And for you, Nia? Just being someone that's
so good that I forgot the question.
well, it was really tailored to her, Devon, anyways. But just being like someone that's worked with youth in general, or just work with people. But like, how do you feel like that has helped you or assisted you in navigating the youth for this generation?
You never stop learning lessons. I feel like I'm a person who believes that you always have to be a student to life, and so like I am never going to be the person that's always giving out lessons. Like, just like I said, there's not just one monolithic lived experience. Everybody has something. So if I can learn from the next person, and then I could take their lived experience, my lived experience, and then help somebody else so they don't have to like conquer the obstacles that person A and B did, that's a win for me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm always learning something. Like, it keeps me in that state of just being open-minded and ready to receive.
That's true.
Absolutely. And Nia, what made you want to work for Buffalo Futures?
What made me want to work for Buffalo Futures? I was looking for something that really connected me with my own like personal mission. Okay. Like, I love the arts. I love people. I'm a fanatic for my city.
Period.
And I just felt like it had to be a way to be a connector of all these things because they weren't just like existing in themselves. I wanted something that really met at that intersection, and Buffalo Futures does that. So yeah, that's why I chose it. That's why I wanted it.
Now that's beautiful when you're able to actually find something that's for you that puts everything in alignment, especially when it comes to your mission. Yeah. A lot of people lack that integrity to the extent of I'll work for whoever because a check is coming in, or I'll do something that bends my morals based on getting a check, as opposed to I'm here standing on what is right. Is what's right at heart. What's right at heart as
I don't
opposed
know
to
about the bending morals, but yeah, the check coming. The
No, that
check
makes
gotta
sense.
be in traffic. It gotta be on the way.
I mean, period to that too, though. Like, we doing the work, so you know what I mean. We gotta get paid. But so, what do you feel like are some? Well, how would you help a youth in overcoming hardships? Like, what would be your necessary first step into helping them if they're going through a lot of the different struggles that our disconnected youth do face?
Or like a specific strategy that you've used on one specific case.
I would constantly remind them that it doesn't stop here. It's always something on the other side of the story. It's always something on the other side of the experience. Like if I had stopped living or had emphasized all of my big losses in life or challenges, I don't know where I would be right now. Like you have to imagine yourself, even if it takes like extreme like delusion. Like I would be a resident of Deluluville if it meant that it was something better on the other side. If it meant that I had promise and purpose, like during this or after this, whatever it may be, I would definitely say it's not over after this. Always stay ready for opportunity. Never get down on yourself and count yourself out. Always count yourself in.
Period.
Just to piggyback off that, you said the constant reassurance, right? So the one strategy that I always use with my young folks, no matter where they come from or how long I'm going to interact with them, is that constant support. Like, I'm going to be there. You text me, I'm going to answer. You call me, I'm going to answer. You come to my office, I'm going to answer. You ask for a ride, I'm going to give you a ride. It's that reassurance and support that I feel like our young people aren't getting from whatever entity they're looking for. They're not getting it. So that's the one thing I offer. When we build up trust is that you know that you're going to have me as a support line.
That's good.
No, and that's big because when we talk about youth advocacy and the lack of resources that we do have is kind of ironic because we have an episode that's based on this specific episode that's based on the accessibility to those resources, right? You have two resources sitting on that couch, two resources sitting on this couch, couple behind the camera. Like we all have our own niche in the sense of being able to help people and what we bring to the table to push the community forward. So I love to hear that from both of you guys. If you don't mind, can you both talk about a challenging time that you had to overcome that you feel like led you to where you are today?
That's good.
Ooh.
I actually got one, so I can share one. You need time to think?
I need time to meditate. Okay.
Okay, so I can go first. So in college, bring it back to the athlete situation because this was a pivotal moment. I was on scholarship, and if you fail a drug test while on scholarship, then you can lose your scholarship. And my sophomore year in the fall, I call it a scare, but really it was just maintenance, right? Making sure that I wasn't taking any performance enhancing drugs, but I was smoking weed. So when I got the call for the drug test, I was nervous and I had 24 hours. And long story short, I had to take a lot of precautions and basically mix up a whole bunch of imbalances of chemicals in my body to make sure that I pass. I lost 10 pounds in a day, and it was just a very unhealthy situation for me to go through, but I passed. Kept my scholarship. I was able to still compete, had no hiccups or anything. But in that moment, looking back, I had to tell the story a lot now. What was it worth for me to go through all that and potentially like put like a fatal risk and harm at my body just to compete, you know, in that situation? I was like so ashamed of being caught doing something that I wasn't really caring about my health. So I guess that's the one challenge that I want to I constantly am trying to overcome is that like denial and like I guess resentment that I like profess and project on myself for language for stuff that doesn't happen or hasn't happened yet. It's that fear. I guess I just have to deal with the consequences head on. And how do I profess that to my young people when I'm kind of a hypocrite and I can't do it myself? So that's the challenge I try to overcome every day.
That's good.
That leads me to another like a crazy concept of like who helps to help, or like where do we go for advocacy? Those that are supposed to be on the front line and be advocates. But if we can transition to your challenging time, if you do have one.
Well, definitely, I got but I would say I don't really want to highlight one moment. I don't know. I think for me, I think there's certain themes in my life that apply, but I would say like an overarching theme that has been a challenge for me is something that I spoke on earlier. Like I was one of those people who counted themselves out before they were even in the game. And like it wasn't until I think Michelle Obama, she came out with Becoming in like 2017, 2018.
She's so bad.
I read that book, and something she says is defeat is a thought way before it's an occurrence. So like oftentimes in my life, like I would count myself out and be defeated where I wouldn't even like persevere through. Like I can't even believe that story right there, because I'm thinking about me in college. I'd have been like, man, I should have never touched the blizzy. I should have never touched it. Because I would have just been over. I wouldn't have been trying. I'd have been like, I no way I can pass this. But from that moment on, like reading that book really changed my life. Like if it's a thought up here, I don't even entertain that enough to let it overflow into my life and my actions and what I go for. There's no reward without risk. So I feel like I'm risking it all and I'm winning it all too.
Well, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up.
Like, say that. So then on top of that, so what's one thing in life that you're still like trying to achieve? Like one thing you've always wanted to do and that you're still trying to achieve?
I am trying to achieve like doing like a full on like media platform. If that works for me, all grace to God.
What type of media platform?
So I want to be like all mediums. So like blogs, newspapers, podcasts, magazines, stuff like that.
Period. That's good.
Luckily, we have the resources to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
we have good people
yeah.
around us to do a little bit of everything. So,
I know Davon probably want his own gym, you know, in Puerto Rico, but it's okay. What you want to do, Davon? What you want to do?
Own gym in Puerto Rico.
You know what I mean?
That would be dope. The weather is so much better than Buffalo. Let me tell you.
Y'all just gave him an idea.
Come on.
Look, but I think truthfully, I've always wanted to start up a community center. And it's just like there's no real ask to it. You don't have to pay nothing, but you come play ball whenever you want to. 24-hour access. Somebody's gonna be there. A mediator. It's just I want something for the community, by the community, from the community, with the community.
Period.
All through the community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want. One day it's gonna happen. I'm gonna rob a bank first, but it's gonna happen.
Don't say that.
But not from this community.
Not from this community.
You know what I mean? They gotta be from somewhere else because we trying to keep the money.
What a message to the youth.
We try to stay unified here.
But that is so good. A large loan.
That's what he meant. That's cold for
subsidized grants.
Wait, what they say? Unrestricted. Unrestricted funds.
What is one opportunity area that you guys both feel that we are actually succeeding in this area? Like what's something that we're doing good as a collective?
I think Buffalo is really doing good right now. Like over the past, I would say 5-6 years, we have been really good at connecting. Like I've never seen so many Buffalo talent, so many Buffalo leaders, thought leaders connect with each other to reach a common goal. Like I feel like a lot of the times we're silenced because there's not a lot of people that know what Buffalo is about, that are actually residents of Buffalo and can speak from that experience. Right. And so we've been actually like grabbing each other by the hand and creating community. And that's something that I know like my grandmothers will say, oh, it didn't used to always be like this. You know, we used to know everybody on the street. Right. But now I feel like we're kind of we may not know everybody on the street. But like we basically know people around. Like there's not a lot of places you could go without knowing somebody. And I feel like Buffalo is really putting their foot forward and making sure that we're like connected again.
That's good. And what do you feel, David?
In that unity, right, that we're striving for, in that connectivity, where does it come a point that we like see an actual shift in narrative? because we know narrative is everything. Like, you guys are advocates. We talked about helping youth, the reasons why you guys are passionate, but like, how do we get there?
I mean, keep chugging along. I'll be honest with you. Like Nia said, like we're starting to finally see that we as a people are becoming more community like in action, right? Not just like on the surface and what you see, but in action. Like all the leaders are now starting to come together, work together more often, and you see us combining efforts. I think that once that becomes a norm again and we start reinvesting into our communities, we see the narrative be changed. But again, like I'm not going to get pessimistic. That's when we'll see the negative or the narrative change, and I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the narrative doesn't change like when everyone is on that like one accord that you may be thinking. Like it's not going to be like a drastic thing where like everybody's like, "Oh, Buffalo, the community." I feel like the narrative changes when your narrative changes. So like when you start acting like more of a community, the people around you will see that change, and your dynamic and your environment definitely shifts. So I don't know how long that would take, but like he said, we definitely have to keep chugging and keep putting that work towards that goal.
Yeah, and I feel like, as you said, like the positive, because I'm not from Buffalo, but like being here and like with this organization, it's like, oh, these people out here connecting with each other. Like, I don't know if I seen all that in Niagara Falls. You know, no shade to my city. I love my city. But I'm just saying that it is a lot of more connections and networking out here. And it's, I don't know, it's just a little more happier. I like driving around. It's just like there's people here to help the people, and they actually want to do it instead of talking about it. And I think that's the main issue too, because that's not the question I want to ask you. Do you think that these conferences and these networking events where it's like we're going to these parties or whatever with these big people, are they actually doing something, or are they just to get a picture and to just be posted? Because it's just like, are we going to talk a lot about this, but what are we doing to actually work it out? Because you can say it, it's like, oh, well, I'm helping this person, I'm helping that person, but it's like we actually haven't seen you do anything. So what do you feel?
Depends on who's going to the conference and the entity.
That's real.
It's real. Because I feel the same way. I've been to a few. I'm not going to say no names, but like it's, in my time, I've been to almost 10 at Open Buffalo. And just like seeing of the participants who going, not from Buffalo, but just across the nation.
Right.
Different funders, different participants, different youth leaders, different youth. Like, what are you getting out of this? What are you bringing to the table? It's interesting. A lot of personal kind of endeavors and I guess expectations that come out of it instead of like a universal, I want to better everyone around me and my community. Like, people want money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And that's it. And it's like, well, no, I got into this position to help the youth, but it's like, no, you didn't. Yeah. I don't see it happening. So, you know what I mean? What do you feel, Nia?
I definitely feel the same. I think it's not only our job to think about the community, because there's a lot of cynicism. Like, you could definitely have your own motives. It could definitely be about the money. But at the end of the day, from my perspective as the community, it's not about getting in the room, so to speak, but it's more so about like who we allow in the room.
Absolutely.
So like if we're allowing the right people in the room, we could definitely have some movers and shakers. But
right.
You know, sometimes we have to enter into spaces where we aren't sure of other people's motives, but we have to stay strong in what our mission is.
That's good. I think definitely, because it is like how he said, it's who we allow in the room, but then who is in the room, because we always doing these events, and as I'm like, we going on all these trips, but are they actually doing anything? And then how can we make sure that each event that we go to is a productive event? And it's like we're coming back with a grant, or we're coming back with something set in stone that we are actually going to do this work and we're helping people out. You know what I mean? So I just feel like there was definitely a lack in the events that we be going to. What you think?
I feel like the Atlanta trip for me specifically was insightful.
Oh,
I
definitely.
was able to
That
meet
was a great
a
one.
lot of different people. I was one of the people that was a grant winner on that specific trip, that specific night, day, however you want to put that. But overarchingly, I feel like I agree with what you guys are saying as far as who's in the room, reasons for why, but it's about the push. I think I feel like how in the not just the push that you make advocating for yourself or speaking up for your people that you're supposed to be on the front line for, but the push in regards to like just being truthful in your advocacy and not like just letting things fall by the wayside. Another thing that I would say is the follow up and how important it is. Like you might connect, like we talked about unit, excuse me, unity and connectivity, but if you make that initial reach out to somebody and then there's no relationship that comes on the back end of it, that's when it becomes not necessarily useless, but that's when we're just moving in vain. That's when we just took a trip to take a trip. In that sense. But to move forward and get you guys out of here, is there anything that you guys have coming up that you want to shout out? Platforms, anything?
Okay, that's my time to shine.
You know.
Okay, thank you very much.
You so bad.
So on July 13th, with the help of Buffalo Futures and many other entities
Whoop, whoop.
that are forthcoming, Open Buffalo's hosting its 4th annual color run.
Nice.
It's a fun, free. Put that out there, free. Everybody gets food. We do a barbecue style food: hot dogs, hamburgers, veggie dogs, halal burgers, veggie dog or burgers. Very inclusive. Gluten free rolls, normal hamburger rolls. There's a DJ at Bounce House. We have yard games. We have a teenager bounce house. Inclusive. It's just health and wellness, right? So color run. So color dust at people. Self-explanatory. 7 laps around the track. You can walk or run, and then obviously wraparound services. We're gonna have up to 40 different tablers and vendors there to share information for anybody of ages 14, opportunity youth ages. Put that, encapsulate all of them. So come out July 13th. I say July 13th. It's free. I say free.
What time again?
It's 12:30.
Location.
Period.
Johnny B. Wiley track. And it's free.
Free.
And it's free.
Free food too.
And it's free.
And it's free.
And
Bring
it's
your
free.
kids, your mama, your daddy, and your papa.
Wraparound
Granny
support.
too.
Yep.
And it's free.
And it's free.
It's free.
And it's free.
Real free.
Did you have anything you wanted to shout out, Nia?
Shout out Buffalo Future.
And we thank you so much for your work, and we look forward to furthering you along in the family.
Yes,
Amen.
yes.
Whatever that looks like.
But thank you all for coming on, y'all. We are about to have our youth guest. His name is Mikey. Well, his name is Michael Hunley, and he's one of our youth leaders in the Youth Council. So we'll just see you in a bit.
Hi, my name is Trell Mason. I'm the Senior Director of Buffalo Futures. I'm here just to shout out one of our sponsors, Best Self Behavioral Health, which is actually the largest mental health, behavioral health agency here in Western New York, with a host of programs ranging from adolescence to senior age, over 90 different programs in 70 locations. I just want to thank them for their generosity to Buffalo Futures, as well as to myself and the community. For more information, please see bestselfwny.org.
So we are back, y'all, and we're back with our guest, Mikey. Mikey, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
So y'all, Mikey is a 16-year-old. He goes to MST. So I want you to tell us first, like, what are you involved with at school or just in general in the community?
I'm involved in the student government at my school. I'm the media manager.
Period.
So basically, I'm going around taking pictures of the school, or like if we have events in the auditorium, I'm like taking pictures of the guest speaker and like posting it on our social media just to show that we're actually doing stuff. I'm also a part of the My Brother's Keeper Leadership Academy. Yeah, they shout out to them, Dr. Willis, Miss Sosa, Dr. Morel. And they basically helping me work on my leadership development and like my public speaking skills. And I'm also a part of the PTA. It's in a community center, and basically we're just trying to get the community out to come together and just be one with each other.
That's good.
What would you want programs like Buffalo Futures to know more about as far as it comes to the youth in the community? What's something that they should know about, rather?
The youth, my generation, we hard to get to. Like they some hard heads. Like they don't, like, they could hear about it and just like be like, oh, okay, that's there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to actually like look out into it and like, oh, let me go see what that's about. Like, you could be at like a public speaking event and they'll be listening, or like they'll still have their headphones on, or like scrolling on their phone, looking at social media still, and not really gaining all the knowledge that they could.
Right. Well, if they were like those who are willing, you know what I mean? Because like you with her,
Yeah.
so there got to be some other people out here just like you. So
Yeah.
those that are willing, what do you feel like they could tell other organizations like ours, like what we could add?
Probably add like going out to the schools. You know, like you got to reach out to them, even though like some of them might not listen. It's definitely like a select few that will listen to you, and like just approaching them directly, they'll definitely listen more.
That's good. So, how has your like experience changed since joining Buffalo Futures?
My experience, it has changed a lot actually. I'm learning more about like media and like learning about taxes and like money and how to handle all of my
you better say that. You better say that. We teach.
Y'all teaching. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing y'all big one. Not gonna lie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do we keep youth engaged? Because like you just said, there's kind of a disconnect in the sense of just our generation not being fully tapped into the resources. So how do we keep youth engaged?
Like, how do we get those kids to stop being on their phones or their headphones in?
Like, okay, so if you have an event, turn your phones in at the door. Straight like that. Straight like that. Because without them, like, if they have their phone on them, they're definitely going to check. And some youth, they will fight with you like, oh, I'm not giving you my phone. This my iPhone 14. You're not. If you break it, you buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they not really, like, too into it, but some of them will understand, like, just for a good little half an hour, 45 minutes. Once you get into it, it might be longer, and then they'll actually pay attention, and it'll be all right that they don't have their phones. So,
so then, like, what off rip? You know what I mean? Because, like, if you go to a basketball game, it's like, oh, I ain't going to be on my phone. I'm only going to be on to take pictures off rip, so we don't need to take no phone. So, like, what events do you think we should do, or even organizations like us, so that it wouldn't even be put your phones in, but you don't even want to be on your phone because this event's so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, having like public speakers come out, or like a little like concert type, like a little Buffalo rapper that's trying to get themselves out there, bring them out. You know what I'm saying? Have them perform on the stage. It might be good to see or hear them. So, you know, it gives them a reason to like pull out their phone and record, and then like have little segments where like you coming out on the stage just speaking about what opportunities are in the community and like what's available to them, and they might actually look forward into that.
What would you say keeps you engaged when you're listening to a speaker, outside of like having respect enough to keep your phone away or not have your headphones in? Like, what's a message that you're receptive to or that you take in well?
Well, me personally, I know what I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm looking for in life. So like when I see them out there, it's like I really like they're higher than me. I know that I can definitely gain some knowledge from them. So let me put my phone down or like tap in when they're out there speaking, because I could really like gain some real good knowledge that could help me in the future.
And so when thinking of like you got yourself together, who was your biggest inspiration?
Honestly, I had a lot of it's a few. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Tyshawn Wilson on all platforms. He I'm not sure if he knows it that much, but he really did help me during my middle school. When I was in like 6th grade, I met him. Everybody was like, "Oh, y'all look alike." And he just like helped me get into technology at first. And he showed me like all these little girls in middle, you know what I'm saying? It's not really worth it. Don't focus on all that stuff. Like meeting him, I joined a step program, you know. You know what I'm saying? I was out there, you know what I'm saying, on them stages, stepping and stuff. And like that really was like a part of giving me like confidence just to like be out there dancing at first. And then I learned to speak. I want to also give a shout out to my mother, you know, my father, all my siblings, you know. Shout out to y'all, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate all y'all. So it's like, yeah.
We love to hear that, especially with us being so family oriented. But what I wanted to ask you is, what was something that you didn't expect about Buffalo Futures that ended up coming up?
The outreach, network opportunities. Like, I'm a young entrepreneur myself. I do YouTube, so like,
period.
When I'm with you guys,
shout the YouTube out.
Shout the YouTube out. Okay, Mikey Savage on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to drop a video soon.
Period.
I was in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I did like a little vlog. So Mikey Savage on YouTube. You know, it'll be dropping soon. But
I
you gotta remind me the question. Now you got me too excited.
What is something that you didn't expect about Buffalo Futures that kind of came up?
Okay. So the networking opportunities, like being out at these events and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Seeing people do what they do, it's like, well, like how did they get there? Like, cause you know what I'm saying? You don't just jump off and you like already there. You know what I'm saying? Take time, you know, you gotta build up your foundation and all that stuff. So seeing them, I asked them questions like, what can I do to like get in your shoes or like just to like expand my brand, you know?
Right. So with being that you had like Tayshawn, you said, or the Tyshawn Wilson growing up and having that person, what do you feel then that the youth need that you feel are disconnected and they stay on their phones? What do you feel like are their needs into being or wanting to become successful and just like thinking of it in their heads?
They need a listening ear. You know what I'm saying? Somebody to listen to. We all got our battles, you know what I'm saying, going on at home, and like they're not able to like express themselves and what's going on. So like if you're there for them to like just listen, like literally like just listen to what they got going on, their little problems, like little beef or whatever little drama that they got going on, just listening and like giving them a little advice or like tips and pointers from people that are older than us and have been through those things before might actually like help them. And yeah.
That's right.
What's something that you think Buffalo Futures can add as far as resources? Like, should we have more of a counselor presence? Should there be more youth advocates? Should there be more events? I know it's been what the greater part of the last 6 months that you have been with the program.
Yeah.
But like, what's something that comes to mind that you could add that you could add?
I believe counseling would help definitely. Going out to them and showing them that you're here and like y'all are downtown, you know, in the center of downtown. So it's like it's a lot of schools down here. So like right after school, if they're able to, they could just come right to the building, you know what I'm saying? Just somewhere to chill, relax, you know what I'm saying, have a good conversation and just open up about themselves. I believe that that would help them a lot. And another thing that you guys can do is like reach out to their parents. Show the parents, because the parents will be the one to talk to them and let them know like, oh, this is here, like I'm gonna take you here. Like I know that what we have been going through, like, you know, the saying, the parents are the ones, you know what I'm saying, the big ones in the household. So they'll know like, oh, my child probably needs this, and they could definitely like bring their child out.
So, like, being that you've been here for 6 months, what do you feel like the next 6 months should look like in order for it to be a productive 6 months with Buffalo Futures?
A lot of out of house events, you know what I'm saying, like being coming out into the community, like going to like Delaware Park or like McCarthy Park or like just places where the youth are, like the mall, you know what I'm saying, things like that, just like setting up a table or like walking up to them like, hey, how you doing, like I do this and would you like to come over here with me so I can help you out, you know what I'm saying. And because one thing that you guys have done for me, like I realize y'all actually help me with what I want to get into. So that's what attracted me to you guys. Y'all actually, like, I told y'all I wanted to be a young entrepreneur and do YouTube and stuff. So y'all was like, okay, I could come over. You come over here. I could teach you about cameras and like media production technology and things like that, and we could actually like help you get into what you want to get into.
Right. You know, we outside.
That's a fact, man. That's what the podcast is for. That's what Buffalo Futures is for. Centering youth voices, giving people an opportunity, giving people a new outlet to express and experience life in different and tangible ways. Actually, being able to walk away with a lesson, a solution, a plot, a plan. So we appreciate you so much, Mikey.
Appreciate you guys.
Shout out to you said Mikey Savage on
Mikey
YouTube.
Savage,
okay.
capital M. Mikey Savage, capital M, capital S, no space, no none of that. Mikey Savage.
All right, perfect. And what can we be expecting on there besides the blog? Is just a vlog?
I'm planning on getting into fashion.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I see you is dripped out today.
You know,
I
just a little bit. You know, so a slight little fit. It's not nothing too crazy. It could get better, but we're not gonna talk about that too much. But I'm planning on getting into fashion, like going out to like fashion runways and stuff like that, and like vlogging and getting interviews there, because I also do interviews and vlogs. So like if I would be able to like get an interview on the head of the brand, or like, you know what I'm saying, I believe that will help me and them also, you know what I'm saying. That's a network opportunity right there.
So do you have any like last thing that you want to shout out, last things you want to say, or stuff that the youth would need to hear in this moment?
Y'all should definitely connect with Buffalo Futures. Like,
Ooh.
definitely.
Not
They can help you
offense.
with what you want to get into. So just follow this, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to YouTube that they got
Period.
going, you know what I'm saying? Watch the podcast, keep gaining knowledge, gaining information, seeing the people that come on here, because just watching them can give you advice in what you want to do also.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Thank
That's about
you.
it.
Well, thank you, Mikey, for coming on here. It has been a pleasure, y'all. He is one of our council members. So, you know, our council, you know, you obviously know what we got because we got Mikey, real life. 16 years old. He's doing it big. He's on his big one. But, Mikey, we want to thank you. And we want to thank all of you for coming on and watching our podcast video today. And we will see you in the future.
We're out.